Turn your Bibles to Philippians chapter 3, third chapter of Philippians. Lord Jesus, we thank you for the privilege it is to sit at your table this morning and to hear a word from you. We pray, God, as we sit here today, that you will open up our hearts and our minds to receive all that you have for us today. We thank you that every distraction is being removed at this moment. We thank you that you have set us up today to hear something that will change our life, change our perspective, put us closer to where you want us to be. God, we acknowledge today that we need a word from you. We've heard a lot of things this week from a lot of different people. But today, God, we need to hear what you have to say. Spirit of the living God, speak in this place. These blessings we ask and receive it now. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. Our text this morning is found in Philippians chapter 3, and we will begin our reading at verse number 10. While you are looking at that, I was considering this text, and I noticed something in this text that, although I've read it many times, I realized something that I had not realized until I went before the Lord regarding this text this week. And what I realized reminded me of the fact that I really enjoy watching interviews of people who are successful in whatever field that they are in. I find myself, whether it's on YouTube or television or wherever, I'm attracted to hearing the journey of people who are successful, because I realize most often success doesn't just happen. There's a process that you have to go through in order to achieve any level of success, regardless of what the field is. And I thought about the fact that I'm probably attracted to that because I grew up in a household where we were taught that whatever you do, you ought to strive to be the best at it. My parents didn't care what we chose to do. They said, whatever you choose to do, you ought to strive to be the best you can be at it. And if you're not working to be the best at it, then leave it alone. Don't play with it. Just find something that you care about and be the best at it. So they didn't care. If you were a baker, be like Yolanda. Be the best baker, cake baker there is. Come on, clap for Yolanda. It didn't matter if you were a person who cleaned floors. Clean the floor so well that when people get into any room, they could look around and say, okay, Tim Brewington did this floor. This floor has never looked like this. So whatever it was, doctor, lawyer, teacher, social worker, bus driver, be the best that you can be at it or leave it alone. So when I listen to people who are the best at their field, there are a couple of things that I am looking for. One of the things that I am looking to see is how many times did they fail before they succeeded? Yeah, I know you own a successful business now. Congratulations. But I want to know, how many businesses did you start before that have failed, and why do you think they failed? Because I think you learn more from your failure than your success. Oh yeah, the things I know now for sure, they're not things that I learned on the mountaintop of success, but they're things that I learned as I was walking through the valley of failure. I picked up some things along the way. Can I tell you that there is no sure formula that will guarantee your success. You can follow the same thing that somebody else did. They end end up successful and you do the same thing and you end up falling flat on your face. Why? Because there's no formula for that. But there are some formulas. There are some things you can do that can guarantee your failure. Oh, y'all don't like me already. I said there's some practices that if you put these practices in place, one thing for sure, it'll guarantee that you're not successful. So I want to know, what did you learn through your failure? Because you take those lessons and say, I need to make a mental note of that. So if I find myself in the same situation, I'll know how to progress. As I listen to these individuals who are successful, I find that there's a common thread in all of their stories. And this brings me to the point I want to talk to you about today. There's a common thread in all of their stories. What I found out is that successful people always have at least one thing that motivates them. There's one primary objective. There's one goal that they have in mind that is so strong that it allows them to keep on going no matter how many times they fail. They have this goal in their mind, this objective that they have, and they say, this objective is so great, it's so strong, that it doesn't matter how many disappointments, how many failures, it doesn't matter how many times people tell me no, I'm going to keep on going until I get a yes, until I achieve the thing that I'm trying to achieve. For example, there's one gentleman who was successful in this field, and he was asked that question. He said, why did you keep going? He had experienced a number of failures in his life. He was asked, well, why did you keep going? He said, I kept going because I was raised by a single mother. It was 6 of us, and we lived in a 2-bedroom apartment. And one day, I told my mother, I made a promise to her. I said, Mama, one day I'm going to buy you a house. And when I buy you a house, I'm going to allow you to be able to put whatever you want to put in this house. He said, Mama, I'm going to go out in the world and I'm going to make something out of myself because I'm going to buy you a house. So when he went out into the world, every time he ran into something, he kept pressing against it because he said, I made a promise to my mother that I'm going to buy her a house. And he said everything he had done before that moment was all for the moment when he could go to his mother and give her the keys to her own house. That was his motivation. So when people would tell him to stop, it's never going to work, you need to try something else, you need to move on, he was so determined that he would not stop until he achieved what he wanted to achieve. Some people are motivated by the fact that they were raised in an environment where they were told that they would never be anything, they wouldn't be successful. So they go out into the world determined to prove everybody wrong. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to be something in this world. So they're motivated by these things. And so as I read this text today, I realized that Paul too was motivated by one objective. A couple of weeks ago I told you that the Apostle Paul was the best at what he did. When he was persecuting the church, he was the best at persecuting the church. We don't know anybody else in history that was better at persecuting the church than the Apostle Paul. He was a master at it. But then, when God saved him, when he was converted by the gospel of Jesus Christ, he was the best at communicating the gospel of grace. Here it is, a man who used to kill Christians. And now he understands the gospel of grace like nobody else, and nobody in the history of mankind has better explained the gospel of Jesus Christ than the Apostle Paul. That's why he wrote most of the New Testament. Most of what we understand about who we are in God is because of what Paul revealed to us in the scriptures. He had one thing that motivated him. You look at verse number 10. find what motivated Paul. Verse 10, Paul says, I want to know Christ. He says, knowing Christ was Paul's primary objective. His goal was to know Christ. He valued the knowledge of Christ so great that nothing he did before he knew Christ mattered. Nothing he experienced, nothing he knew, nothing that he accomplished. He considered all of those things as nothing, King James Version says, for the excellency of the knowledge of Jesus Christ. Paul was not an ignorant man. He knew a lot of things, but he says nothing compares to the knowledge of Jesus Christ. Knowing Christ is the greatest thing you could ever experience or ever know, and his primary objective in life was to know Christ. So much so, if we read further up in Philippians chapter 3, you'll see that Paul gave up everything to know Christ. And that's where we get a little touchy here in 2018. We want to know Christ, but we don't want to give up everything. We want an imitation of Christ that will accept a down payment, but we don't want to give him everything. Come on. Paul rejected, hear me, everything that made him who he is. He rejected it so he can know Christ. Think about what makes you who you are, your identity, the family that you come from, your ethnic background, the successes that you have. Are you willing to say those things mean absolutely nothing? When I compare knowing Christ and having an identity in Christ, everything that I am, everything that I was, everything that I had before Christ means absolutely nothing. I give it all up so I can know Christ. I let it go so I can know Christ. Can I tell you that I pray that we are a church who finds the knowledge of Christ, knowing Christ, to be our supreme objective. I pray that we are not a church that gets excited about programs or excited about buying property or excited about expanding our reach and having prosperity, that we get excited about those things. But then when it comes to knowing who Christ is, having an experience with him, we're no longer excited. If I preach about all the money that God's going to send your way and all the popularity that you're going to have, we will be running around this place losing our minds. But I'm telling you, none of that means anything. If we're going to get excited about anything, we ought to be excited about the fact that we get to know Christ. Hallelujah. The jewel of the church is Christ. What is most precious to us is Christ. Everything else is nothing. It is temporary. But our objective has to be to know Christ. And the world is waiting for a group of people who are willing to stand up and say, we have had an experience with the living Christ. He is not dead. He is still alive. And if you trust him, he will change your life. Paul could have lived the rest of his life in comfort. But he said, no. Knowing Christ is more excellent than anything else I've experienced. Look what he says next in verse know Christ in the power of his resurrection and the fellowship of his suffering. I want to know Christ. How do you want to know him, Paul? I want to know him in the power of his resurrection and the fellowship of his suffering. Here Paul acknowledges that there are two avenues that you must go down in order to know Christ. There are two pathways that you must journey together, or there is one pathway that has two experiences. There's the experience of power and there's the experience of suffering. And I want you to know you cannot have one without the other. It's a 2-for-1 deal. You get two for the price of one. If you want to know Christ, there is power and there is suffering. And Paul says, I want to know both. I want to know the power of his resurrection and the fellowship of his suffering. Paul first says, I want to know the power of Christ. See, here it is. The power of Christ is this, that he has power to change your life. He has power to change your perspective. Here it is. Paul was on his way to kill more Christians, but then he met Jesus. And after meeting Jesus, he says, who art thou, Lord? And Jesus, he heard a voice from heaven saying, I am Jesus who you are persecuting. That one encounter with Jesus changed his perspective. He realized that he was not a friend of God, but an enemy of God. Here is what happens when you have an encounter with Jesus. It changes your perspective on life. Nobody meets Jesus and walks away from that encounter seeing things the same way. That's what old folks used to say after they got saved. I looked at my hands and they looked new. I looked at my feet and they did too. Why? Because I encountered Jesus and he changed my vision. I see things differently. That is the power of Christ. The power of Christ is able to pull you out of the dark places in your heart and in your mind. His power is able to bring you into the light of his love. We used to sing songs about him. Bring us out of darkness into the marvelous light. It's an indication that before I knew Christ, I walked around in darkness, but now I am in the light. That's why Jesus said, let your light shine. Hallelujah. Why? Because the world is dark. The power of Christ removes guilt and depression and frustration and the stain of sin. The power of Christ gives life to the dead areas in your life, those dead, unproductive areas in your life. Christ speaks life to those areas. Christ, he said, I want to know you in the power of your resurrection. Paul recognized that Jesus fought death and won. And Paul said, I want to know what it's like to have power even over death. I want to know every man before him, when he got into his battle with death, he lost. But when Jesus got into a fight with death, his power gave him the victory over death. Paul said, that's the kind of power that I want to know. I want to know the power of your resurrection. He also said, I want to know the suffering. I want to participate in your suffering. I want to have fellowship with your suffering. I won't spend too much time on the suffering part. I don't care too much about that. But let me just say to you that Christ's suffering is a unique type of suffering. Let me say this. All of humanity suffers. Whether you are a believer or an unbeliever, whether you're an atheist or an agnostic, a part of the lot of being a human being is suffering. So Paul wasn't saying, I want to suffer. You don't have to ask for it. Kind of come along with the territory. He said, no, I want to know what it's like to suffer like Christ. Here's what it means. It takes a special grace to suffer like Christ. Why? Because Christ did not suffer for his own sake. No, he suffered for the sake of others. Christ didn't suffer because he did wrong. He suffered because we did wrong. See, listen, I don't know about you, but I don't mind suffering. When I do wrong and I have to suffer the consequences for doing wrong, I'm man enough to deal with the consequences of my own wrong. I will suffer what I have to suffer because I did wrong. But it takes a special kind of grace to do the right thing and suffer for somebody who's doing the wrong thing. It takes a special type of grace when the wrath of God is ready to be poured out on the guilty. And here you are, the innocent, and say, no, I will take their place. I will take your wrath and your pain. See, that's the type of suffering that Christ endured. And Paul says, I want to know what it's like to suffer so that somebody else will be blessed. Help us in 2018, this selfish generation, and we will suffer for ourselves, but we won't suffer so that somebody else will be blessed. And I'm telling you, God is raising up a church that will suffer so that somebody else will be blessed. How much are you willing to suffer so that somebody else will know Christ? Look at what Paul went through for the sake of the gospel of Jesus Christ. He suffered a lot so that somebody else wouldn't have to. I want you to know there's a special kind of grace and anointing that God gives to people who are willing to suffer so that somebody else will be blessed. That's when you know Christ for real. Because the power is manifested through the suffering. You want to know his power, then you have to be willing to experience his suffering. Verse number 12. It says, not that I have already obtained all of this, or have already arrived at my goal, but I press on to take hold of that for which Christ took hold of me. I love this part because here Paul admits that he's not there yet. All this, I want to know your suffering. I want to. He says, listen, before y'all leave this text, I don't want y'all to think that I'm all happy about suffering. He says, it's not that I've already obtained this. I have not reached it yet, but I'm pressing towards it. I'm moving in that direction. Listen, Paul admits that he's not there yet. It's a process. He's moving in that direction. Listen, Paul is talking about where he wants to be, not where he is. Let me say that again. I help somebody right here. Paul is talking about where he wants to be, where he is going, not where he is. And for somebody, this is the word for you today. Stop talking about where you are. Start talking about where you want to be. All right. Somebody missed that. Talk about where you are going, not where you've been. I've been stuck in sin. I've been stuck in unforgiveness. I've been stuck in frustration. I've been stuck in loneliness. But I'm going to a place of joy and peace and confidence. I'm going to a place of knowing who Christ is for real. Paul talked out of his mouth. He first started talking about where he wants to be, where he is going, where his objective is. Some of us need to stop reminding ourselves of where we are at right now, or where we were last week, or where we were 20 years ago. No, I am not in the same place. I am pressing towards the prize of knowing Christ Jesus. He says, I'm not there right now, but I'm pressing. Pressing means that you are trying to go in one direction and something's trying to move you in another direction. Yeah, it's not a press when there are no obstacles. It's a press when you are moving, using force to go in one direction, but there's something on the side of you trying to keep you from where you are going. Saints of the Most High God, we live in a world that is pressing up against us. It doesn't want us to acknowledge our experience with God. It doesn't want us to move towards knowing Christ. He wants to keep us stuck in complacency. As long as we okay, it's all good. There is a lot of things pressing against us, but I want you to know that the prize is greater than what is pressing against us. The goal is greater than the opposition. The reason the boy who kept going because he said, I want to buy my mother a house, he kept going because buying his mother a house is greater than you saying no. Buying his mother a house is greater than the opposition. You got to know that where we are going is greater than what's pressing against us. And here's the good news. The Bible says, greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. It says, thanks be to God who always causes us to triumph in Christ Jesus. And so I press because I intend on winning. I intend on reaching the goal. Can I tell you, knowing Christ is greater than anything that's fighting against you. Can I ask y'all this question? Why do you think that this world doesn't want us to talk about Jesus? Why do you think that everybody can say anything they want to say, but as soon as a Christian whispers the name Jesus, we get called all kinds of names? Why? Because the world knows, the spirit of darkness that rests in this world knows that if we call on the name of Jesus, he will be defeated. That somebody who has a hard heart and a dark mind will meet Jesus one day, and he will change his entire life around, and he would rather have us living in darkness. That's why you get sleepy when you pray. That's why you say the reasons why not to come to church. That's why you get offended easily, because the adversary does whatever he can do to keep you from knowing Jesus. Headaches, backaches, depression, frustration, all of this is to keep you from knowing Jesus. But Paul said, I'm pressing anyway. Oh my God, I just love myself. I'm a press anyway. Why? Because knowing Jesus is greater than the opposition that I'm facing. Talk about me all you want. Walk away if you want. Go do something if you want. But I saw Jesus high and lifted up. His train filled the temple, and I'm pressing towards knowing Jesus. Listen, I want to know Jesus. I want to know Christ. My goal is not popularity. My goal is not friendship. My goal is not to be the best person in town. My goal is not money. My goal, I want to know Jesus. So I'll keep going.